Welcome to the Never Stop Getting Better podcast presented by CoxHealth. Yes, you heard that right. We've added a new partner to the show, and we couldn't be more thankful for CoxHealth stepping up as our presenting sponsor. CoxHealth is the region's leading not for profit health system, serving 25 counties through six hospitals and over 100 clinics, with more than 14,000 dedicated employees committed to keeping our community healthy and close to home. We're proud to have them behind this show. Now, let's get into the show. Thank you, Cox Health. Getting to the story for the Monday Mojo. I took the story from an email from Clint Hurdle. If you've not signed up for Clint Hurdle's daily emails, they are fantastic. Well, this one comes straight from that. And the title is Seeing the Good. There once was a woman who had a ritual of having a cup of tea and looking out of her kitchen window. Each morning, she would see her neighbor hanging her laundry to dry on the clothesline in her yard. There were always dirty clothes, spotty, dusty. She thought to herself, what is wrong with this lady? Such a slob. And she shared her negative thoughts with other friends that would come visit her. One day, a friend came to visit, and the woman and her friend sat at the table in her kitchen having tea. There she goes again, said that woman. Filthy, dirty clothes on the line. She never gets her clothes clean. Her friend looked out the window and said, I don't think it's her laundry that's dirty. She takes her napkin and she wipes the kitchen window. It's your window that's dirty. The woman found her glass cleaner and a rag, then thoroughly cleaned her window. With each swipe of the window, she realized her neighbor's laundry was becoming cleaner and cleaner. The problem was never her neighbor's dirty laundry. It was the woman's perspective from her own dirty window. Sometimes the imperfections and faults we see in others are really not about them. It's about us, fixing ourselves first and seeing with clean, positive eyes. What a fantastic story. A couple of leadership principles that I think are very prevalent when you think about this story is we need to clean our own window before we judge someone else's dirty laundry, right? One of the greatest qualities of a leader is self-awareness. And I've heard this stat recently that 95% of people believe they're self-aware. What percentage do you think actually are when they researched it, and they took polls and did all their things? 10 to 15% of people are actually self-aware. So many of us think we are, but we actually are not. It's easy to see what everyone else is doing wrong. It's much harder to honestly examine ourselves. One of the things that I've said about, coaching football, and this could be said about any profession in the world, when things changed for our football teams in the past, when you go back and, when we really started playing better football and winning more games was when we decided to look in the mirror. Brian Kite told me years ago that if your team went 4-7, you're a 4-7 coach. It is what it is, right? And honestly, when he said that, I wanted to pick up a chair and throw it at him, which I'm glad I didn't. But we had just went 4-7, I think, in 2015. Maybe the only losing record that a team that I've been on, played on, or whatever has ever had. But when you go 4-7 and you're the head football coach, I can assure you what most people do is they walk off the field, they walk off, thinking, what are all the things that are wrong? And I had a list of them, man, from the way our school was set up, from the way our classes were, the other sports, the size of the school, blah, blah, blah. I had a list of reasons why our place couldn't get it done because I'm not a 4-7 coach, right? Our team was 4-7. But when Brian Kite said that, and I went home and I started really thinking honestly about where we were, and I decided to look in the mirror and say, okay, your team went 4-7, then you are absolutely a 4-7 coach. What are we going to do about it? And then things started to change. I think the first change was for all of us will be to look in the mirror, right? When things aren't going the way they should, and we have the title of leader, we need to look in the mirror first and take ownership of the things that we are responsible for. Leadership lesson number 2, your perspective shapes your reality. The neighbor's laundry was never dirty and it never changed. The only thing that changed was the woman's perspective. Think about how powerful that is. Two people can experience the exact same event and walk away with completely different stories because they're looking through different windows. I know this is, a friend of mine this is his story, and I know this is the story of so many people in this world. I have a friend that's never touched a drop of alcohol because his dad was an alcoholic. But I also, the same friend also has a brother that struggles with alcohol because his dad was an alcoholic. The perspective at which we look at things changes the way that we behave and the actions that we take. Sometimes we need a perspective change. Leadership lesson number three: great leaders look for the good in people. It's so easy in this world today to criticize, to blame other people, to complain about issues, to get, disrespectful when somebody tries to, add value to us. Anyone can point out the flaws. Social media is full of critics that I call haters, man. Like haters are everywhere. Championship leaders are different. They look for the potential in others. They encourage before they condemn. They believe the best before assuming the worst. One of the greatest gifts you can give someone is to let them know you see something good in them and that they may not even see in themselves. Some of the most powerful words that you as a leader can say to someone else is, I believe in you, period. I don't care if you're a parent, right? That's the most powerful word you can say to your kid. If that's an employee and it's somebody that you lead, just being able to say that I believe in you is some of the most powerful words that we can say. There's a story in the Bible in Matthew chapter 7. It says, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Notice Jesus doesn't say we should never help someone else. He says we must first make sure our own vision is clear. That's what leadership is providing value to other people, seeing them better than they are so that they can grow to be the best that they are capable of being. So today, before you criticize someone, before you, assume, before you judge, take a moment and ask yourself, is the problem really out there, or is there something I need to clean up in myself? Because when you clean your own window, you don't just see people more clearly, you begin to lead them more effectively. What a great story. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Like always, if you ever need anything from me, I'm an email or a phone call away. All of that's in the show notes. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for purchasing the book. The feedback on the book has been really cool. I've enjoyed every text message, every picture, every email that I've gotten. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And some of you made it deep enough in the book to the free poker chip because I've mailed quite a few poker chips to those of you that have asked. If you asked and you didn't get one, then I may have, fumbled that. You can re-ask and I'll get you one in the mail for sure. Thank you for all that you do to serve others and to leave this place better than it was, when we got here. That's our objective in life, man. Serve others and make a difference. Until next time, adios, amigos.